Oh, hi there, it's Peter here, CEO and founder of SailPro, back here with another SailPro SIM video. In this video, I want to cover Laylines and how you can use SailPro SIM to explain and understand how Laylines affect a yacht race, both upwind and downwind. So with that in mind, let's jump straight into it. Okay, so in this section, I'm going to talk about how you can set up your course and your boats to do things like cross ley lines to show either yourself or, say, if you're a sailing coach, students, the effects of what happens when you do things like sail past a ley line. And then use it more so to talk about tactics on the race course, how to use ley lines, how to make sure you don't go too far, how you might use them tactically against your competition, those types of things. But all we're really going to do is show here how you can set the simulator up to show you what happens when you go past ley lines. All right, so I'm here inside SailPro SIM, and I'm first going to show you how you would use this to show your upwind ley lines. And of course, your upwind ley lines are shown here by these pink lines, the port ley line and the starboard ley line. And you can change the angle of those if you want by coming to the ley line angle here, tacking angle here, which is here. So if you, depending on what type of boat that you're sailing, could be a foiling boat or a sports boat or whatever, you can change those there, but I'll just leave them as 45. If you wanted to, you can quickly change them like that. All right, and so what we're going to do now is simulate how you would actually force one of these boats to overstand the ley line. So what happens by default is that when you run SailPro, so if I move the boats through the course here, you'll see as soon as a boat hits the ley line, the simulator will realize that and it will cause it to tack. Okay, so what you can see here is that if I just run this through, then both these boats, because we've got a square ley line to the wind, both these boats are going to be exactly equal and they're going to hit the first mark at exactly the same time. What we want to show is one of them overstanding. So the way you do that is basically move the distance upwind and cursor until the boat that you want to overstand has tacked on the ley line, and then come down under, say, boat A we're going to work on here, take the tack at and then reduce that. And then what you'll see is when you get down to past sort of around the, we'll see here in a second, you can see here around the 200 meter mark, you can see that it will overstand the mark because it needs to know how far that it traveled 230 meters, and we've told it to tack at 190, which means that it's tacked past the ley line that's there. Okay, so we've got that there, and then automatically we can see that there's a gap now of minus 37.5 or minus 4.2 boat lengths to boat B, because boat B hasn't overstood the ley line yet. And then, so what you can do with this, we can zoom it into the fleet, and then you can press that, we'll make that slow, and we'll click the play button. And so now you can see, as they get together, boat B will tack on the ley line, and you can see the gap here, 33 meters or 3.6 boat lengths. Now you can see that actually gets shorter or smaller as the boats get closer to the mark, because boat A is fetching to the mark. Okay, so it's not sailing its normal ley lines of 45 degrees, it's sailing what you would call E sheets. All right, so that's how you can simulate that. Let's zoom back out again, and then you can actually see the results down here. So I'll just pause that. So then you could actually show that happening on both sides of the ley line, and in fact you could do things like move a boat in, so we could take boat A and move it closer to boat B. So we'll move it up here. And so you'll see what happens is it moves the whole thing. And now boat A hasn't crossed the ley line because we have got a tack at number of 190 degrees. So if we increase that to 260 and we sail on a little bit further, you'll see that it will overstand that mark again. And then you can control that. So you could come in here and put 240, okay? And then you can see what happens when that does that. You could also come and maybe put boat B on port and then show what happens when it hits the ley line. All right, and then you can start to do things like move the wind around, show how that affects the ley line and the gaps to each boat. All right. So yeah, so that's how you would show upwind ley lines. Now let's have a look at how you would do this for a downwind leg. So we come back up to the top, click downwind, and you can see here, we'll just center the course again. And we basically got the same thing. Again, just a tip, if you want to see the whole thing or you want to maximize the view, just click focus. And now you can see the whole thing. So here again, we can see the effects of overstanding the ley line downwind. So you can see boat B tacked inside the ley line, or sorry, jibed inside the ley line. Boat A went outside, but in doing so suffers a 25 meter gap or almost a 3 boat length loss at the almost the end of the race. All right, so what we can do is play this through, and then we can zoom to fleet and we can see this here. Okay, so they're finished now and the gap was basically 20 or so meters. All right, so that's how you can use upwind and downwind ley lines to demonstrate how ley lines affect you in a yacht race. All right, thanks for watching.